everybody. We're out here, day number 1 of practice for stop number 2 of Division 2 of the Bassmaster Opens here on Kentucky Lake. Just out here graphing around right now. Been graphing around for a little bit this morning. Actually just idled over my first good group of fish. But should be a fun week. Should be a lot of fish catches this week. Looking forward to hopefully catching a few smallmouth this week too. So hopefully we can graph around, find some of these fish. The weather's not looking very good for this week. It looks like a couple days are going to be questionable for going. I think it's Tuesday, day 3 of practice. It's supposed to be like sustained 25 with like up to like 40 to 50 gusts, tornado warnings and hail and like 2 inches of rain, and not good. So we're gonna have to capitalize on today and tomorrow's practice, cover as much water as we can out here. We're gonna try and just be as efficient as we can out here with the 1 or 2 days of practice that we're going to be working with. And then even if we are able to go on that last day of practice, day 3, you're probably only going to be able to fish in some back bays and that type of stuff, with it being so windy. It's blowing right down the pipe at 40 to 50 mile an hour winds and stuff. So gonna have to try and find as much stuff as we can today and tomorrow. So I'll talk to the camera as much as I can, but really gonna try to focus as much as I can, try to find as many groups of these fish out here as I can on these bars and stuff. So there's actually so this one, holy Toledo wad, Jiminy Christmas. Oh, it's freaking dinged up. I almost didn't even idle over that. Glad I did. See if I can get a bite off of it.
I hope you don't eat me. Just love Friday. Come to the show there.
Well guys, that's it. We just got another 20 minutes or so here left, day number 1 of practice. It was fairly tough. I didn't catch a ton, but the ones I caught were big ones, so we're getting the right quality, just not very many numbers today. So most of the day I pretty much graphed around. I graphed around a ton today. Just looking for them shell beds and brush piles and just stuff like that to hold some of these fish. My biggest ones, I got one really good shell bed that I got a few bites off of. Caught some like a 4.5 pound smallmouth and had a couple other good bites, and there's a ton of them there. So, and it's not a super obvious one, it's a fairly sneaky one, so that's good. Hopefully won't be too many people that find find it, if any. So maybe if we're lucky, we'll have it to ourselves. So, and then I caught a pretty big largemouth off of a brush pile. That is also a fairly sneaky pile too. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, so that's good too. Graphed around some more around just all these bars and stuff out here and all these points, and really just on the back side of the bars and that type of stuff is what I graph most of the day. Just looking for the shell beds and stuff like that. It's got these groups of fish on it. There's not a ton of them, but you can definitely find some schools, and there's a decent amount of them. Fished up kind of northern-ish on the lake today. I'm probably gonna go down southern, kind of by the boat launch there around Paris, and look around down there. It's looking like we're only gonna have possibly only 2 days of practice. Tuesday is like 20 sustained 20 mile an hour with like 50 gust and tornado warnings and hail and all that good stuff. So even if we are able to go on Tuesday, we're probably only gonna be able to fish in, some bays and stuff like that. So not gonna be able to be very productive that day. So that's a recap on day 1 of practice here on Kentucky. We got some of the right quality found. If we can just get a couple more areas through the next day or two, I think we'll be sitting pretty good. So I really want to fish for smallmouth. I love catching smallmouth, and it seems like that's what majority of the ones are on the shell beds, and that's kind of what I want to fish. It's kind of what I want to do, so I think that's what I'm going to do, just dragging around on shell beds and stuff. So go ahead and getting some, I've got a couple 4 to 4.5 pound smallmouth off of them now, so that's definitely the right size that you're after. And then I got a couple brush piles that I can get some good 3.5 pound class largemouth off of, so should be pretty good. Just get a couple more areas to kind of run around to and bounce around and get a good rotation of stuff, and we should be sitting pretty good if all goes well. So the water's already like super muddy out here right now. Only 5 or 6 inches of visibility even out here on the main section of the lake, and it's even dirtier back in the bays and stuff like that. So the game plan is pretty much kind of do the same thing tomorrow, just at a different section of the lake. We're gonna spend a lot of time graphing around with side scan and down imaging and stuff, and just look for these groups of fish and any structure that they're relating to. Pretty much the most of the stuff I've caught them off of so far is the shell beds. Is pretty much seems to be majority smallmouth, and then the brush piles seems to be majority largemouth. So it's kind of my main 2 deals right now, and I'm getting good. They're really fat this time of year, so the ones I'm getting out of are good quality. Like 3 to 4.5 pounders. So that's definitely the caliber of fish you're after. So as long as I can, should be able to find a couple more areas tomorrow and get a good rotation of stuff, and we should be sitting pretty good. So that's a recap on day 1 of practice. Stay tuned for tomorrow, and hopefully we can find some more. What's going on, everybody? Out here for day number 2 of practice. Just graphing around right now, looking for some of these grouped up fish and some brush piles and stuff like that. We're at kind of just down looking around at around the Paris area today. I went up north yesterday and looked around, had an okay day. Didn't catch very many, but the ones I caught were the right size. So gonna look around down here and try and find some more down this way. It's looking like it's gonna be a pretty windy week, so I want to have some stuff down around the ramp here. So gonna graph around, try and look for some of these fish. back up, and they are dropping back down. So they've been pulling just a ton of current. So there's a bunch of current going out here. So just graphing around the backsides of these bars and backsides of points and humps and all that stuff, where these fish can group up and stage up that's out of the current and just kind of hang out until it's until they're ready to move up and spawn on top of these bars. So that's what we've been doing, just graphing around, look for shell beds and brush piles and just any sort of structure that these fish can sit on and get out of the current. So we found a couple schools yesterday up north, so and a few brush piles and a couple other little zones just fishing. But yeah, kind of got the same game plan today of just a different section of the lake. So gonna graph around down here and just try and find any sort of structure that these fish can set up on out of the current. Practice here on Kentucky Lake for the Bassmaster Open. It's pretty tough out here right now. It's hard to get a bite. It seems like when you get a bite, it's a pretty good one, the right size. But it's hard, it's fairly tough to get some bites. So we just got on a deal here, kind of towards the end of the day here, just a little bit ago. Found a couple areas that had a couple fish here by the ramp. So, but other than that, it was pretty tough. Talked to a couple guys, and they said the same thing. Really tough to get a bite, and it's just really tough out here right now. The water's super muddy. The next couple days it's supposed to be super windy, a lot of rain and tornado warnings and all sorts of stuff. So I don't know, we'll see. It's going to be an interesting tournament. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to have day 3 practice or not tomorrow. It's looking like it's going to be like 20 to 25 mile an hour sustained with 45 to 50 gusts out of the south, which is blowing right up the lake against the current, which is no good. So, and we're supposed to get like 2 inches of rain and tornado warnings, and so even if we are able to go tomorrow, it's not going to be a very productive day. So made the best of what we could day 1 and day 2 here. We don't have many areas. Like I said, it's really tough out here right now, but I got one really good school fish, a smallmouth, way up north. And I think if I can get on that, it'll be pretty good. I think I get a couple big ones off of that, and then I got a couple, 3 or 4 or 5 other shell beds that I'm gonna rotate through that are in that same zone up there. And then I got a handful of brush piles that I'm going to kind of rotate through, a couple stumps that I caught some off of, and just miscellaneous different types of structure and stuff that I caught some fish off of and found some groups of fish on. So just going to kind of rotate around and see what we can do. I'll keep you guys updated if we end up practicing tomorrow or not. But yep, hopefully it's going to be an interesting tournament. We'll see.
Get in with the business, I'ma be there in a minute. much I need a visit. I'ma run it to the limit and be on my way to Venice. LA got the people saying